Good morning from the Boreal Bloom Homestead. I'm Kevin, and since our last video, the snow has melted. I've been able to get out in the yard and start to work on the pig pen layout. It's only about 4 weeks until we get these pigs, so don't got much time. So let's get cracking. I gotta go grab my tools, and then I'll do a quick walkthrough of kind of what I did and where I hope to be by the end of the day. As you can see, I'm in the back, one of the back corner posts here. You can see I've cleared by hand all the way back to the chicken coop. You can kind of see it back in the background there. Oh, wrong way. In the background there. And then this way over here, same thing. Kind of finish back over that way for my 64 feet. So as I mentioned before, it will be 64 by 64 square. So there'll be lots of room for the 2 feeder pigs that we're getting. We'll go down to the other end there and I will show you what I'm gonna do today.
What follows is a brief construction montage. We hope you enjoyed this brief construction montage.
So the plan today, since I ended up getting the last side of the perimeter cleared by hand yesterday, we'll just kind of maybe pan over here. As you can see, it's all cleared by hand. Eventually we'll get in there with a skid steer to get that topsoil off. But we're gonna start over here today. You can kind of see there's the corner of the run where that's the shelter's going to sit. Oh, and you can kind of see in the background right over there is the pig shelter. So today's work, get in the skid steer and start to clean the front edge of the run and where the shelter's going to go. And because this is on a hill and slope, this is the low end. So what we're going to have to do is to ensure that we build that soil up where the pig pen's going to be sitting, so it's not in a low spot that accumulates water, just because that wouldn't work out well for the pigs. So let's get going this morning. All right, well, that made quick work of that pile. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to unhook the string line here that runs along the front face of the alleyway. And once that is down, then I can get in there. The plan is I'm going to clean about 10-12 feet into the run. Reason being is I need to make a wallow at the far end, and like I said earlier, is this kind of corner right here is where the shelter's going, so I need to build that area up. So there'll be a couple trees that I got to push down and get out of the way. So we'll get this camera moved and we will get back at it.
One pathetic sob story later.
While we were on holidays, one of our beautiful ice bar hens went broody. Despite us trying to gently break her broodiness by collecting eggs multiple times a day and carrying her out into the run as many times a day as we collected eggs, we were no match for her hormones. It took a while, but I finally convinced Kevin to agree to let her set, despite a brooder full of chicks. My daughter and I set up a maternity ward in the garage using our dog crate brooder from last spring, and Big Broody Judy did not like her new digs. In fact, it took 15 minutes of her pacing and squawking and yelling at us before she saw the eggs and finally settled in. We're really excited to hatch chicks from our own stock.
4 to 6 days later.
We've been making a lot of progress on the pig pen project over the last couple of weeks. Today is going to be the fun job starting. We're going to auger some holes and get going and see some real progress with some fence going up on the front over the next couple of days. Other than that, Ali, there has been a little bit of challenges we faced.
Yeah, absolutely. This job, like any job, comes with challenges. Every time it seems that we're doing a big project, we run into a hurdle, but you know, we always manage to get through it. So this time we had a major leak on one of the tracks on the skid steer, and actually we do think that it might be related to the same leak that we had back last spring when we had a major leak working on the pear-gilled food forest. So, you know, this time, instead of bringing it into the repair shop, we decided to tackle this project ourselves. So we figured it out. We got in there. It was kind of a dirty job.
It was very dirty. It was tight.
It was
you know,
difficult.
I have a lot of tools, but you know, when you start working on something like this, sometimes you need some specialty tools. So it was a bit of a rigmarole. You know, we had to call around to some friends, but we got it done.
Absolutely. And you know what? In the process, you know, we tackled something unfun together, right?
Yep.
And we did it ourselves. So we, you know, gained some knowledge through that. So, you know, that was kind of, you know, if there is a silver lining in that little rigmarole that Kevin called it was that we were able to do it ourselves, and we came out with extra knowledge that we didn't have before.
And we saved a little chunk of change in our pocket. So that's all. That's
always to save a little money. If
that's
we can,
always
yeah.
good. So, like I said, today's an exciting day. As you can see, we rented auger for the skid steer. So we're gonna start pounding in our holes to set our fence posts. Once those holes are augered and we get the fence posts set, then this is going to come together fairly quickly. As we talked before, the back part of the run are just going to be T-posts and whatnot. So once this is finished, we should have this hopefully finished up by the end of the week. So we're excited. Pigs.
And despite our setback, we are still on schedule.
We're on track. Yeah, we wanted to pick up the pigs or the May long weekend, which is this coming weekend. So things are looking good. So
the only thing that can maybe slow us down is this crazy hot weather that we've been having.
Yeah, it's super hot, but we'll get through it. We'll just have to, like I said, make sure we're up in our water intake, taking breaks as needed. But we're gonna get going here and get this project over the finish line.
Over the past couple of days, Kevin and I have made some awesome progress on the pig pen project. We're really happy with how far we've gotten. Today is Thursday, and as you can see, we've got the front face set on the pig pen, and we are ready to move on to the next step. But you know, of course, as with any homestead project, there are other things that get sprinkled in between your major projects. We have some local permaculture friends who heard that we were looking for a few plants to add to our food forests, and they came in clutch and they brought us an entire truckload of plants just the other day. So we, you know, took some time away from the pig pen project to get all those plants into the garden. So we planted some comfrey and some walking onions and some sorrel, some lovage. They brought us native cherry trees, some maples, and some mountain ash, and along with a few other things. So we were really happy, you know, to receive that bounty. And so we made sure that we took the time to get it into the soil to not, you know, damage those trees.
We didn't want them to go to waste. Like
Right.
they took the time and effort to harvest them for us that morning, just before they came out. So that was awesome. So we wanted to not let that go to waste. So, you know, those are in the ground. We'll, you know, have to keep on top of giving them water to make sure they establish. But now that that's done, we can get this to the finish line. So I just wanted to talk about some of the products that we used for securing the hog panels. I guess these are actually cattle panels because we went to the higher 52-inch because we're going to be burying some of it underground. But for setting the posts, you know, we got these Fast 2K. It's in a 2-part epoxy. We've used these on all our fencing projects over the last couple of years. We would recommend them in a heartbeat. They are a little bit expensive. They're about $22 per pouch.
Canadian.
Canadian.
$22 Canadian. I don't know.
That would be, I don't know, probably $15 American, somewhere in there. But, you know, we don't use them for the whole hole. So we're lucky here. We have a lot of clay soil. So as we excavated the holes, we put the clay off to the side. When we set the posts, we use probably 2/3 of the hole with clay and water to secure it. We put one of these in, and then we'll backfill over top. And like I said, these aren't backfilled yet, but this post ain't moving anywhere. So that's awesome. And then one other thing we use to attach the cattle panels to the posts is we had this leftover strapping that we used on the chicken coop. And I literally just cut these in little, about 1.5-inch strips and a couple screws, and we'll flash some pictures in up close, but worked perfectly for what we needed. We were able to set them at the right height and they didn't move at all. So that was awesome. You know, everything came together for getting this first part of the fence done. But now we're gonna move on to the T-posts in the back of the run. We do have gates to set in the back, so 3 posts to do there, but we're hoping in the next 2 days we can finish off the run, backfill everything, and be ready for our pigs to pick up on the weekend, pretty much right on schedule for what we were shooting for.
Yeah, and like not a moment too soon. Like May long weekend here in Alberta, it's time to get the garden in. So as soon as we're done this project, I'm gonna be over there in the garden trying to get all those hardier plants in before it's too late.
Yeah, so you know, after this project's wrapped up, like you said, garden project, get in, and then I still got 1 more week before I go back to work for my holidays, and we've got bees coming this year as well, so we got to get that area prepped before I go back to work. So that'll be coming in the next week or so.
And we are addicted.
We are addicted to trees, plants, perennials. Like we're shooting for like perennial gardens. Like we want a 1 plant and leave it 1 and done. Like there are some annuals that we're gonna put in, but for the most part, we're shooting like 75% plus of our plants on the homestead being perennials. So every year we
single-handedly keep the greenhouse.
We keep the greenhouse in business, yes, for sure. So we, over the last couple of weeks, bought probably 10 fruit trees, probably 50 perennial shrubs and whatnot that we have to get planted as well. So there's no rest for the wicked. We'll get this one to the finish line, and then we'll move on to the next one that's in queue.
This was a very busy day for us. We started hanging all of the stringers and the pig pen really started to take shape. It was so fun to visually see all of our hard work paying off and to see that the pen was exactly how we wanted it to look. Once we got through the stringers, we switched gears and started pounding in some T-posts up the side towards the back. When we needed a break, we headed to town for a final supply run and to pick up feed for our new piglets. I can confidently say, always buy more T-post clips than you think you'll need, and then buy 1 extra package. No morning is complete without a stop at the chicken coop to give the girls their fermented feed. This is something we've been experimenting with for the last month. We found that once we turned off the heat lamps in early April and ran out of storage squash that we were using for the girls' treat trays every day, our egg production went way down. This happened despite quality food and increasing daylight hours. We decided to try fermenting their feed, and we were back to getting 14 plus eggs per day from our 18 laying hens, minus Big Broody Judy, who hasn't laid in over a month and a half. As you can tell, they love it too.
We're at the back of the run and things are almost at the finish line. So if you can see up top there, I don't know if you can, we got 3 more panels to put in. Then we have 3 more gates to build and half the backfilling to go, and we will be done.
And ready.
So we want to be finished today. So it's early this morning, about 8 o'clock. So we're going to put in a big day today to hopefully get to the finish line.
Absolutely. We're hoping to pick up our pigs tomorrow. So that's still on track with our goal. And we're really happy with our progress. But one thing we should mention is that we've been up against some environmental challenges this week. There are a few large forest fires burning in Alberta right now, and it's really affecting the air quality. And I don't know if it translates on video, but it is very smoky here.
Yeah,
so we have been fighting poor air quality. And then the other challenge that we've faced is that the weather has been extremely hot. So last year, when we were working on our chicken coop project, we had days in May where we were wearing toques because it was so cold. And this year we've been struggling to get enough clothes off because it's been so hot. So one way that we've managed the intense heat, obviously, like Kevin said earlier in the video, was stop and take a lot of water breaks. But another thing that we're doing is we're bouncing around a little bit. So pounding in the T-post is very physical work because of the clay soil here. So we'll do a little bit of that.
We'll do that in the morning or in the later evenings, and then, whereas the heat of the day, I'll hop in the skid steer, do the dirt work while Allie puts the rest of the clips on to secure the fence. So it's,
we try to minimize the heavy physical activity during the hottest part of the day. So yeah, it's working for us. It kind of makes the project a little bit disjointed, but it's the best way to move forward.
Yeah. And so in saying that, we are going to get our work boots on because I'm hanging out in my sandals, and we will get rolling here. And yeah, I'm excited. Pigs are coming tomorrow. It's going to be a fun day.
I'm super excited.
This was our last day to work on the run, so it was all hands on deck. Our kids pitched in and helped us to button up all the last minute tasks so that we could mark this project as complete. Backfilling the fence line was a tremendous amount of effort, and as Kevin previously mentioned, we excavated all of the topsoil to ensure that our fence was sitting on solid clay and that our pigs could not dig their way out. But excavating meant backfilling and being on the business end of a hoe, rake, or shovel for hours. I am super happy that that part is done, at least for now. The soil we backfilled will likely settle and need to be touched up once it rains, but for now, it's perfect. Tomorrow morning, Kevin, the kids, and I will be jumping in the truck for a family adventure. We'll be driving about 2.5 hours away to pick up our pigs, and we can't wait to bring them home.
How do we get that one in without letting this one out?
Well, you're...
Okay, what can I do?
Open them in. It's a little slow.
What if this guy tries to get out? Holy mother trucker!
Okay.
It's an exciting day on the homestead. Today it is pig day. So you can see maybe our 2 new pigs behind us here. This morning was a little bit hectic, but last night Kevin and I had a late night pushing as hard as we could to get the rest of the pig pen ready, and we were really happy with our progress.
So this morning we had a couple of last minute things to do. We got that finished up, got the dog crate inside the back of my truck, we tarped it, and then we hit the road. So a couple hour drive, we picked them up. Talked with the breeders to get some last minute information on, the things that we needed, and then we headed right back. And here we are, ready to introduce Frank.
And Frank. Okay, so there's a little bit of a story here. We were talking about what should we name the pigs, and Kev said we should name one Frank. And
Or to go back to old school, the movie Frank the Tank, Frank the Tank. And then Allie decided to...
we should name the other one Frank just to be silly, and it just kind of stuck.
Yeah.
So Frank and Frank, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to carry the crate out of the truck here, and we're going to carry it into the pig pen, and then we're going to open the gate and let them come out on their own terms. It's going to be a little bit easier than trying to wrestle them out of here and potentially
get them all
somebody...
riled up and
exactly.
whatnot.
So we're going to move them in, we're going to open it up, and that's a wrap on that project.
Yeah, and we're also excited to kind of see how they interact when they get to their new home. So coming from the breeders, they were kind of in an open pen, whereas, you know, these are going to be forest raised. So, you know, they're going to have a lot of exploring to do.
Lots of environment
to interact with. So we're excited to see how that all pans out and see how they kind of work themselves into their new home.
While we were thrilled to have them home and excitedly awaiting them to start exploring their new home, the Franks had different ideas. They took their sweet time leaving the crate, even with Kevin trying to tempt them with fermented feed, fresh picked dandelions, and yummy apples. As much as it was a long 17 minutes for us, the boys were able to come out on their own time, and it was a stress-free experience for them. Frank came out first and Frank second, and although it looks hard to tell, it's really quite easy to distinguish the two. Frank has a pink spot on his snout that goes right up to the top, while Frank has a black ring that goes around his entire nose. Frank also has pink front toes. All in all, we are super pumped to have accomplished this project and added another avenue of self-sufficiency to our homestead. The Franks have landed, and with that, we're off to take a break. For now.